Welcome to part 2 of the Core 2 video tutorials. This tutorial will go more in-depth into the sound design aspects of Core 2, such as combining sounds to make multis, routing audio and MIDI, and how to leverage the power of Core 2's control pages. Let's continue with the sound we created in our previous tutorial. However, let's change the effect. I'll right-click on the huge playground effect and replace it with one of Core 2's internal effects called Space Reverb. As you can see, we immediately have a control page for this effect. And using this page, I can easily adjust the wet-dry parameter of the reverb. But if you look closely, you'll notice that the reverb has two parameters that aren't represented on this page: the EQ low and EQ high. The good news is that we can easily add these. So let's create a new user page by pressing the New Page button. We now have 8 knobs and buttons that we can freely assign. I'll then press the Learn button, after which Core is waiting for our input, so I'll move the first knob on the Core controller. Then touch the EQ high parameter on the Space Reverb. As you can see, EQ high is now assigned to that knob. I'll press Learn again to take it out of Learn mode, and I don't need to do anything else. When I turn the knob on the Core controller, you can clearly see the knob moving on both the controller page and within the effect itself. The beauty of this system is that it is exactly the same no matter what you want to control. I might want to control a parameter in a software instrument, say Master Volume, for example. Let's load the Native Instruments Pro 53. I'll create a new user page, and then I'll open the Pro 53. As before, I'll press the Learn button and then touch the volume knob on the Pro 53. I'll take it out of Learn mode, and we're done. Using this method, you can control any automatable parameter in any instrument or effect. As mentioned in a previous tutorial, sound variations are essentially several different sounds in one. Each sound variation is like a snapshot of all the knob positions on a given controller page. Watch what happens on the control page when I morph through these sound variations. You can see each of the knobs on our control page being adjusted in real time as I morph between variations. Let's create our own sound variation. I'll use the Core controller to dial in the sound. That sounds interesting, so let's save it right here into Square B. Now let's hear the result. I'll morph between the original sound and our new sound variation. In this example, we created a sound variation by adjusting some parameters that had been pre-mapped. But bear in mind, we could have easily mapped the knobs on the control page to any parameter in our instrument. This can make nearly any parameter in any instrument subject to morphing. So far, we've just shown you the basics of loading and playing sounds. One of Core 2's most powerful features, however, is its ability to create complex layered instruments. Let's use the browser to create the ideal layered pad. Let's begin by clicking on Synth Pad. I want to start with something warm, so let's click on that too. I'm getting plenty of hits, so let's try this one, Sunset Revisited. Great. Let's create another channel to hold another pad sound. It's simply a matter of right-clicking in the blank space to the right of the existing channel and choosing Insert Source Channel. Now I'll choose another pad to layer on top, except I want this one to have a metallic character, so I'll turn off the warm tag and select Metallic. Let's try this one, Iced Castle. Now, both of these pads will play in parallel. It's definitely sounding good, but now I'd like to add an airy quality. So we'll create one more source channel, and then I'll turn off the metallic tag and click on Airy Pad. I'm going to choose this sound, Abyss Flowers. And as before, I'm going to drag it into the source channel we just created. Now, we created source channels in this example, because these are the channel types that hold things such as instruments, but there are other channel types as well. Let's add one more channel to the end of our sound, and this time, let's make it an input channel. This type of channel allows you to bus in sounds from the outside world, such as a guitar or microphone, and then process them in Core. You could add a reverb to a live vocal, for example, or any other type of effect you can think of. Now, we saw earlier how easy it is to add an effect to a sound. You just drop it into the slot directly below the sound. But what if you want to create a dedicated channel for an effect that can be shared among multiple sounds, such as in a traditional aux-send relationship? This is pretty easy with Core 2. We'll start with a sound that will be bused to the effect. I know exactly the sound I want. It's called DX Vance, so I'll type DX into the text search box. And there it is. Let's load it. Now to create the channel that will house our effect. We'll proceed by right-clicking in the blank space as before, except that this time I will choose Insert Group Channel. Now let's add an effect to this channel. I'm going to right-click and add the very powerful Flex Verb. When I play, we don't hear the reverb because I haven't routed the sound to the effect yet. Returning to our lead sound, you see we have several aux-sends along the lower right. I'm going to choose the drop-down menu in the first aux-send and select the effect channel we just created. Now, a portion of the signal from our lead sound is being sent to the aux channel containing our effect, and I can choose the send amount by moving the knob. Now, this is traditional aux-send behavior, but you can change this to behave like a group bus if you want instead. It's simply a matter of sending the entire signal to the effect channel instead of a portion of it. I'll remove the signal from the aux-send by selecting the first aux dropdown again and choosing Remove. I'll then go to the output chooser for the channel and change it from Master to the effect channel we created. Now the entire signal from the lead sound is routed to the group channel. So let's review the relationship between sounds and control pages in Core 2. A source channel contains a sound or effect, which consists of a given plugin, which can have assigned to it various control pages that control the parameters of the given sound or effect. Up to this point, we've been concerned with what are called single sounds, However, Core 2 gives you the ability to nest multiple sounds, effects, and complex routings within a single slot in the sound matrix. Let's take a look at an existing multi-sound, Jigsaw. Here you can see Jigsaw loaded into a single sound channel slot. But if you look in the lower pane, you can see the contents of the Jigsaw sound. This particular sound actually consists of the arpeggiator you heard a moment ago, the instrument itself, which in this case is massive, and the cabinet saturator effect. All these objects are contained within the single core sound called Jigsaw. This bundling of objects is what we call a multi-sound. Multi-sounds are very handy for grouping sounds and effects together as a cohesive unit, and help keep the hierarchy of objects clear. Now, notice that when I loaded the Jigsaw core sound, the arpeggiator and the effect came with the sound. But the beauty of this arrangement is that I don't have to concern myself with the contents of the multi-sound if I don't want to. I can simply be content with what I'm hearing, tweak the parameters of the sound using the control page, and leave it at that. This simplifies your workflow quite a bit. So let's create our own multi-sound. I'll start with a blank slate. Then I'll add a new sound. Notice the contents of our new multi-sound in the lower pane. We can now begin adding objects to our multi-sound. Let's start with a fat analog bass. We'll choose this one, Leroy Bias, and we'll drop it into our multi-sound. Let's add an effect now, but let's make it a send effect. I'll add a group channel, and let's put a delay in it. Now I'll route the aux send from our synthesizer sound to the effect as you saw before. Now the thing to bear in mind is that this synthesizer sound and its effect are currently nested inside this one core sound. I could of course continue to add more sounds and effects if I wished. If I save this multi-sound, the synthesizer, its effect, and anything else I add will be saved together. From here I could add more sounds and neighboring slots, or perform any of the other cool operations we've learned in this video. We hope you found this tutorial helpful. Be sure to check out the remaining tutorials to see even more exciting things you can do with Core 2.